Okay, so this week you have a part one and part two of your activities. So just so you guys know, if you have any questions, I'll be on Zoom at from 10 to 11. So just hop on if you don't understand something. Feel free to come in and ask me to clarify things. Okay. So when you come to the agenda on the 21st, you'll see we're getting down into the breakdown of cooperation during the Cold War. So, as we learned from Yalta and Potsdam, at the end of World War II, the United States, the USSR, and Great Britain were trying to figure out what are we going to do with Germany once they surrender and eventually lose the war, because they were beginning to lose and it would eventually lose to the Allied powers in May of 1945. So they had to come to an agreement about what they were going to do with Germany, much like they had an agreement after World War One. And they also had to agree with what's going to happen with all these countries that were occupied by Germany, and now the Nazi Germany is gone and has been defeated. What's going to happen to them? So that's what today's activity is going to be about. So a couple of things. What you're going to do is, just like last time, you have to pay close attention to the instructions more than anything else. First thing you want to do is make a copy of the Google document, submit it to the response box. So you'll come down here, you'll click on this, make a copy of it, and submit it. Just do that immediately. Get it out of the way. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to be reading, depending on your last name, a particular source. Okay? And group one, you're going to fill in your information. So if your last name is A through L, you're going to be looking at the documents for group one. If your last name is A or M through Z, you're going to be looking at stuff from documents, a different set of documents. So pay close attention to that. So what you're going to do is you're going to read through these or listen. I want to point that out. You can read through it here. If you click here, I have it right there too. But if you look here and it says, okay, it's on page 10 through 13. It's called First Meeting of the Council of Foreign Ministers. So you have to scroll down a bit to page 10. Okay. And once you get there, you're going to read a source, okay, or listen to it, depending on what you want to do. Because I did an audio recording of it too, and it's in echo. It's right. Scroll on the bottom, right here, and then the other ones are here as well. These are going to be for Thursday's activity, so don't worry about these next two. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to read through this, and you're going to notice some things that were agreed upon at Yalta, or that were agreed upon at the Potsdam Conference. And what you're going to do is you're going to go identify the agreement that was made, and I put those up here above. 7 at Yalta, 6 at Potsdam, and there were more, but these are the important ones. And there was also a lot of, difficulty even in those meetings. But you're going to put the agreement that they made, and you're going to talk about what kinds of difficulties are the foreign ministers in these places noticing about living up to those agreements that were made before at Potsdam or Yalta. So they were like, okay, we agreed to do all these things once Germany surrenders. But once it actually gets there, we're going to see that especially the Soviet Union is not really willing to be fully committed to former agreements. So you'll write down one of these agreements. You're going to do 3 of them, and you're going to talk about the difficulty that you saw within these documents, within this document on page 10 through 13. Okay? And if you're group 2, you're going to look at a different set of documents. Okay? You'll do the same thing. Now, you don't have to worry about part 2 on the 21st, but on the 23rd, you will. And again, you're going to read and assign text, and I'll also have it available as an audio file. It's not on there yet, but it will be by Thursday. You're going to look at these questions, okay? And you only need to answer the questions for which you're assigned. So pay close attention to, in the activity, which ones you're assigned, okay? So for example, part 2 says if your name begins through A through L, you'll be in group 1. If you're M through Z, you're going to be in group 2. So just pay close attention. In our next class, the following week, we're going to talk about, what are the different strategies? We're going to see on Tuesday that there's a breakdown in cooperation between the USSR and the United States. And that's going to lead to conflict the Cold War. And that's going to lead to kind of that period of history where we see the USSR and the United States kind of competing for influence across the world. So we're going to get into that. But today, the 21st, we're really going to focus on the breakdown of agreements. And then we're going to see on Thursday, the 23rd, what are some of the responses that the United States is taking towards these disagreements and these difficulties from the Soviet Union. So if you have any questions, please pop into my Zoom session and ask me, or you can email me. I'll be happy to email you and get right back to you. So just feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or problems. Bye-bye.